Yo, what is up? So this is part 2 of WUCHANG Fallen Feathers. Now we're going to look at the FSR 4 on the 9070 XT. So let's get into it. So I don't know if I might actually get into this game now because I've finished the Altars, which was a bloody fucking brilliant game, by the way. Them messages at the bottom left, that I think it's said saying like, I missed it, but the previous one said you've got 99 problems but low resolution isn't one of them. So I think the messages are great with a optiscale up. But so we'll just look at the same things as I did on the 4090 with the DLSS 4. So the main difference from what I've seen is just it was just more overly sharp on DLSS 4 because it naturally seems to be anyway. So when it is too overly sharp, it just looks even worse on games and all that. So there is a sharpness problem on both of these technologies at default. So what I'll do is this is the default setting, so I'll leave it on that, and then this is on FSR 4 with optiscale up. Same settings, not changed anything on the ultra wide. And yeah, I mean, I was going to talk a bit about the ultra wide as well because it has literally been unbelievable. It's one of the best purchases I've ever made in gaming, getting an ultra wide monitor. So it literally just changes the game. I mean, what I might do actually, because I haven't really got far with it at all, I'll just start a new game just to show people the same thing, so we can look at the same things as we saw on DLSS 4. That'd be the best thing to do, and I can look at the same scene. But watching the streams of Fighting Cowboy and all that, he always sort of sells me the game well because I just really like these sort of games, to be honest. So I wasn't going to get it straight away, but after watching him play it sort of suckered me in. I looked at the price and I thought, well, with the DLC you get all these good, you start off with a couple of, I think you get like one or two extra weapons with the DLC, and then you get different outfits and all that. Some are like exclusive, but the standard was $25.99 and the deluxe was $34.99 on CD keys. So I thought that was pretty good anyway. So it's, I mean, I didn't totally notice it in the first cutscene, but then you can just see it is overly sharp. It's not as, so at default it looks a lot worse on the DLSS 4 here when I'm looking here. So it wasn't something I saw straight away in this part. I was more immersed into the game anyway, but then I started noticing it here when I was looking at the water. So, and I thought, is that a bit too overly sharp? Then I found out it was as soon as I went to the outside. But it isn't as overly sharp on the FSR 4, but it is still overly sharp, so there's still issues with it. Because what I noticed was the grass was shimmering a bit when I come out here. And I noticed on the fringe, although it doesn't look bad at all, it just looks a bit too sharp, as I said. I mean, I keep saying, but it just looks a bit pixelated, although it don't look too bad. So as I said, DLSS 4, there's going to be like a sharpness issue and you'll have to turn it down in certain games. And FSR 4 is also sharp. So I think these AI technologies, these upscalers now, because they do such a great job at clean stuff up. Certain games you will have to adjust the sharpness a bit, I think, if they let you do it. A couple of games I've found I've had to put it to 0, especially on DLSS 4, but it's like sometimes it's all like they go over the top with it a bit with the sharpness on DLSS 4, but I do like a sharp image, just when it's so pronounced that it looks bad. But I'm not gonna hate on DLSS or anything because it's literally the same problem in this game. It's not as bad on FSR 4, although it is shimmering. So it's like just saying what you can. There's obviously a problem when you first look at it, and her face is very pixelated as well. So that's what I didn't like. So it is literally the same problem on both. So what I want to do is actually change the sharpness. What I want to do is try one out first. Yeah, it still looks pixelated on her face. So that is the same thing I saw on DLSS 4. Well, that ain't. It's still a bit overly sharp, to be fair. It's just not as sharp as DLSS 4 when you're comparing the settings. But then you put it to 0 and that fixes it. That totally gets rid of all the shimmering on the vegetation on the rocks here and all that. So as I said, when it is too damn sharp, that is when there is going to be issues, for me anyway. I don't think many people like it all shimmering like that. That was the whole point of these technologies, to get rid of all that. Especially FSR 4, because FSR 3 had a massive problem with shimmering. But yeah, that pretty much, that is the best you're going to get until the developers do more improvements. I'm still not look, I'm looking at a Fringe, I don't know. It's still not perfect, but that is the best you're going to get, as I said. But I definitely want to get into this game. It's one of them games, for me anyway, once I start playing it, I just want to sort of keep leveling up and progressing with it. Looks like dodging is one of the main things you got to do. I quite like dodging in games anyway. I usually do that. I'll parry, but only when I have to. I'll just like dodging out of the way. That looks pretty similar. Trying to get that same position I did in video. Camera's a bit iffy. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. It's a bit of a weird, when you get right up close to her face, it's like, looks a bit pixelated and that. See, that's what I said in the other video in part 1. That's what I was saying. But I was able to get right close to her face on the other one, so I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's. Yeah, it looks. See, it's all. And that's literally what I was saying. It's a bit weird. As I said, the visuals ain't great on this game, but they're alright. I mean, it's not something I'm going to worry about, because I think they're not so bad that you don't want to play it. I just think, as I said, they're not the best I've seen, but they're not the worst. It's just above average, I'd say. But there is issues with it. Definitely some issues. So, But if I'm comparing both, they are pretty much the same. They're delivering the same quality, just a slight sharpness thing, which actually works more, slightly more in the default settings anyway. Slightly more in FSR 4's favour. But really, you don't want to use 3 on either, because it, to me, it just looks totally bad on both. So I would literally say it's a tie, to be honest, when you're looking at what they're both doing. In terms of image quality, they are both delivering exactly the same, I think. And it's why I sort of don't really care what I'm using. It's a totally different feeling when I compare it in the past, when I had the 7900 XTX and the 4080. I was feeling every time I went to FSR 3, I felt I was missing out on image quality because it was shimmering so much more. It was blatantly obvious, and I didn't like it, because I did like DLSS 3 for what it did. It literally cleaned everything up, and then FSR 3 was just making it shimmer a lot in places. You would literally notice it. I mean, I think even most of the average consumers would think, well, there's something going on there. But again, if you're coming from console, you're probably thinking it's looking great anyway, FSR 3. So, yeah, I mean, what I think is going to be good about this game is it's like like an RPG as well, and that sort of Souls sort of game, leveling up. I've got get some different robes and all that, I think. Alright, this must be all the gear I've got with the DLC. So it's like an extra £10, I think, for the DLC and stuff. Anyway, that's it for now. So, thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.